Hello, this is Linda Vettrus-Nichols, and do I have an amazing woman to introduce you to? Dorrit Karlsen, Heart Guide. Welcome, Dorrit.
Thank you, Linda. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Oh, it's so nice to have you. You have an amazing story of transformation. I would love it if you would share that with everyone.
Oh, thank you. My story started about 9 years ago when I got burnt out from having 5 kids, working 7 days a week, taking care of a pet shop, heavy lifting, and doing the shop and inventory and orders and everything. And, with a husband and a big house and 3 dogs, doing dog breeding and going to dog shows, I was exhausted. I was just, I can do this and I can do this and I can do this. And of course I can do that. And
right.
I was a people pleaser and I couldn't say no.
Yeah. And having a boss or a business owner who's like, oh yeah, and giving you all the kudos and yet cutting your staff left and right.
Yeah, well, the owner of the shop, he was on vacation in the Canary Islands like 3-4 months in a row with his wife. So he just left it with me, and he just stopped in for a week or 2 to see how I was doing, and then they left again. So it was just me. I didn't have any to take over if I was ill or anything. Right. Then I would have to close the shop. And when you have a conscience, you don't want to close the shop just to lay in bed, Yep. So you go. Yep. So yeah, my body finally had enough, and right. I got really, really ill. Ended up in a hospital for a week.
Wow.
Curled up in the fetal position, crying for 2 weeks. And then I realized I'm not ever going back to that job again.
Wow.
And I was so ill. I actually couldn't work for 7 years. I was so depressed, living like a zombie.
Wow.
My memory was playing tricks on me, couldn't remember stuff, aching all the time, sleepless. And all the doctors could give me were painkillers and sleeping pills.
What a life, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, what a life. I was existing, not living.
Right.
Not having anything left to give to my husband or my kids or anything. They had to take care of me, and it was terrible. And but all of a sudden I got help from unexpected places. Mm-hmm. And I found something that helped my body heal.
Nice.
And the first thing I wanted to do when I got better was to help people improve their life, because I had felt how terrible it was to be helpless. Right. So I wanted to reach out to people and help them from that. And my transformation started on a call to something that we have here in Norway called the Leadership by Heart Academy. That is the coaching academy.
Mm-hmm.
And they helped me resolve the blocks in my subconscious that I have developed, that I had to please people and say yes all the time, be the good girl.
Yeah.
That I wasn't worthy.
Mm-hmm.
It was always the kids first, and the husband and the house and the dogs, and then me. Yep. So I was I got to change that, and I was more like, hey, me first, and then I can serve them better. So right. I thought, well, I deserve this. And I entered the program at the Leadership by Heart Academy to learn how to become a coach. And
nice.
That's what I do. Yeah.
That's so
and use
cool.
my abilities for good.
Yeah. Yes. And you're even a grandma.
Yes. I have a tiny little, beautiful, perfect little boy. He will be 2 years on Sunday.
Oh.
And even though we have 5 kids that are between 20 and 30 years old now, he is the only grandson so far.
Yeah. Oh, you're outscoring me by a long shot.
Fingers crossed.
So you're good.
They are addictive. I'm just telling you. It's so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah. we didn't figure we'd get any grandkids, so we gave up on that idea and just got puppies.
Yeah. Well, I'm addicted to puppies, so
Yes,
I make them in my basement, and I have a litter or two every year. Yeah.
Oh wow!
Nothing much, but the sniffing of the little puppies, it's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, right. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are the queen of your kingdom. So Dorrit learned that the hard way. Yes, Dorrit?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you even got to spend a whole year last year with taking care of your grandson. So you were healed up and loved up, and now you're ready to charge forward. That's so cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk marriage. Marriage is work.
Yeah. You know, that has become a kind of a passion for me. I've been married for 22 years, been 28 years with my husband. But I mean, marriage is like a contract that you enter into, and we both have expectations and things that we want the partner to fulfill.
Right.
And after a while, people perhaps start taking each other for granted because they are married, and I've got you now. I don't have to try anymore because it's us, and that kind of disturbs the whole deal, because the partner doesn't feel that you are doing your end of the bargain, not getting his needs met. It could be closeness, communication, just the little things,
Right.
Yeah. So I'm kind of out there saying that people should be more aware of that before they get married.
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. And not
it.
just because love is not enough. Ooh. You have to love is like a fireplace. And if you don't put in those logs of little things and affection and closeness and communication, then the fire will suffocate and just die. So to me, it's important to let people know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And when we were chatting, we had a great chat on like boundaries, and you had a cute story about how your grandmother used to delegate.
Oh yeah,
sharing that was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Start with how far apart you are to your siblings and do the whole setup, because that's a great story.
Well, I'm youngest of 3 siblings. My brother and sister are 10 and 11 years older than me. So I was born when my mom was 36. She's in her 80s now. And she and my dad has actually been married for over 60 years.
Wow.
So I'm kind of the little period sign at the end of the family,
Right? Yeah. And we call that a bonus baby here in the United States.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. And my grandma and grandpa, they lived down the road from us. So I had to pass their house every day going home from school. And my mom was working and my dad was working at a bicycle factory, actually, in our town, making bicycles. And my grandma was one of the strong women, like Iron Erna. She was really tough and never hurting anyone, but she knew what she wanted and she knew how to claim it.
Right, so, and it was her second marriage too, right?
Yes. She actually, her first husband died. Okay. And she rented out a room in her house to help on the economy. Yeah. And this 8-year younger man rented a room in her house. Okay. And one thing led to another and they got married. So and they were married for like 25 years. Yeah.
Wow.
But cool. My grandma, she had some things that will never leave my mind, because she could come into the living room in their house when I was sitting there doing my homework or something, and she would just tell my grandpa that hey, I'm not here right now. I've left. So you have to make dinner. And he would just get out of his chair, not saying a word, just okay, and just go into the kitchen and start making dinner. And I was like, gobsmacked. What? Grandma, you're here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And she would just say, well, come fetch me when it's done. And he could put his head in and like, are you home yet?
That's so cute. Yeah. So you kind of did your latchkey there. You went to their house, and so you saw this go on. Like, what did you tell me? Like once a week, she would just delegate the meal to him. Yeah. And you were like, oh, wow, that was kind of a wake up call for you, right?
Absolutely. Because being raised here in Norway in that time period, it is very traditional. So women should stay in the kitchen and men should do the work and be outside and tend to the house and tend to the animals and stuff like that. So so for me that was kind of a serious, can it be like this, I loved it. I loved it.
Your grandma was a disruptor.
Oh yeah.
A disruptive matriarch. Yay.
Yes.
I love it. Is there anything else you'd like to say on this slide?
I think for the marriage part, when I say marriage is work, I don't mean hard work, like exhausting work. It should be fun work, but it needs to be work and give it attention and put on those logs of love and care and
right.
Yeah, just
it's like chopping wood. You don't mind chopping the wood because it's going to keep you warm. So the work part sort of gets overlooked because in marriage we focus on the outcome of what we personally get out of our own marriages, right?
And we all want attention. I mean, for me, I want my husband to think that I look nice, and I if I let my looks go, then what am I saying to him?
Yeah,
that,
it's common too. It's like I'm married now, and I just take turns. I have days where it's like, I look whatever, I don't care, just the I don't care day, and then the more made up day. And that almost gets more of a response, like, look at you, so that's kind of fun too.
Yeah. So that's what I want to let people know, that please do that little extra bit because it's worth it.
Yeah, I love your analogy or word picture, whatever the word is, about the fire, keeping that fire going, right? And there is work involved. Yeah.
If you don't put anything in there, people will die. Because there's nothing to burn. So we need to give that flame of love.
Yep. Been there, done that. 33-year starter marriage here. Right? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we know everything, right?
Yes.
Okay. So how do we know everything, right? We just kind of get those intuitive hits if we'll even listen. But as women, we tend to just like get all up in our heads and get all crazy, right? And get caught in even thought loops, right? Stina Marie calls them thought loops. I love that term.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get out of your head is what I always say. And
because the things that we have in our head, our thoughts, that is something that we have picked up from everywhere.
Yeah.
That's learned behavior. What we have inside us, I'm a heart guide, so I refer to it as the heart. Some says the soul, some says the subconscious, but it is inside us. And in today's society, we are so caught up in everything bombarding us, from the news and the social media and our phones, and everything is just making a lot of static noise. So we forget to listen, and we start looking for answers outside ourselves. We go to therapy instead of meditating and asking our own heart, what do I want? We expect the therapist to find out what we want. you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. From birth, we are equipped with everything that we actually need to know to make decisions and what's good for us in this world. So if people need help to find out how to do that, there's a lot of ways to teach them how. But I think it's really important because only you are you, and only you know what's right for you.
Such a good point. And it just feels like that it's the journey that everybody's awakening to. It's out there, it's in the ethers. You're seeing it on Facebook, even on LinkedIn. We're getting there, right? We are awakening to it. Like we knew it originally, we just kind of forgot about that part. So it is inside of us. Even like the movie Wizard of Oz, right? If you look at the yellow brick road, it's actually in the shape of the antispiral, and that shape has like the letter C inside, where a spiral is the backwards C. And so the antispiral is the world's oldest peace symbol, and it's the coming together of the people of Mother Earth. It's about the gathering, and it's also like the symbol of like going inside, which is the story of transformation that, you know, it was inside you all the time, Dorothy, right? Yeah. So it is, it's already there. And we just start to kind of go to sleep. And it is the way that we're being raised, because it used to be the special needs kids, you know, stayed awake. Right. And now all kids are staying awake because of the way we're raising them. Right. And for
that's
some, it
awesome.
was like
Instead of
be heard, seen, not heard.
Exactly.
So that's exciting. I'm sure you've seen a difference even with your grandson.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And what I see a lot in my clients actually is that we have stored information in our DNA. So when I'm coaching them, they can have information and even subconscious blocks, things that have happened several decades ago, actually up to 4 generations back. We can store. So it might not have been your experience, but it could have been a former relative's experience that is bothering you.
Back to the Wizard of Oz. My mom saw it at age 5, and she freaked out over the flying monkeys. And when I was, I don't know, 15, 18 months old, and still in a crib, my parents had taken me to the zoo, and I had a wicked nightmare that night with monkeys all over my crib and jumping on me and whatever. And it's like, you know what? That really wasn't my stuff as much as it was my mom's. Real fear was flying monkeys. So definitely in our like, whose shit is this?
I get that. I get that a lot.
So as you're digging deeper, start to look at things from that perspective. It's not always just about you and coming from.
So if things doesn't make sense, then it's probably some other explanation.
I love it. Okay. And everyone has value. Oh my goodness, we so forget that. And right, and what we've woken up to, the rest of us want to wake up. So it's like, oh, I'll pay you, tell me what you know, because I want to wake up too. And when it's on that level, it's like you can't disagree with it. It makes perfect sense to you, and you actually knew it all along. You're just kind of like remembering. So I love
that. For me, it is about the purpose that we have here on Earth. I mean, we're put here for a reason. That's my take on it. Of course, some are not treated right as kids and experience bad things, and they end up doing things they shouldn't have, and that's horrible. But I mean, we should look more into what is our purpose. Why are we here? And tap into that and allow ourselves to rise to meet our true potential, instead of just going into that hamster wheel and just doing the daily things, and the years are flying by, and all of a sudden you're like, where is the last 20 years? you know?
And there's lots of scenarios of that you are here for a purpose, like somebody sent you, or blah blah blah. And so, and that's fine, there's all different ways of looking at it. The main thing is what lights you up. Like, even if it's like God the Father sent you to do this or whatever, well, how is a father towards a child, right? They look at what they're into, and support that. So it doesn't matter, like that whole like, oh, you're supposed to. It's like, what lights you up, right? I have always made sense of things for myself and others. And so to make sense of things is my purpose. Like, if you look at what's called why coaching, that's how I came out when I did the assessment, and it's like, I've always done that all my life. And so that was super interesting to me.
Yeah. Because I mean, we have that purpose, but we just need to find it. And it could be so easy as to be kind to our fellow humans. I mean, it doesn't have to be that we have to invent the wheel again, or
again.
Something like that. It can be as simple as that. Just help someone, be a good person,
right? And I challenge the word find, because there's like boundaries. Find your boundaries. No, your boundaries are always there, right? Your purpose is it's there. It's more like noticing it, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So, and just like a parent with a child, they're noticing a lot of things about them to kind of guide them along the way. I mean, there's some parents like, you're going to be a doctor just like me, and we know how well that goes. Just go to the movies. Right? Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to talking about kids, right? And no for kids, it's like, we might as well have a license just to have kids. So I think that's a riot. So.
I know that's a bold statement to say that we need to have a license.
It would be helpful to at least have the freaking manual.
Because I mean, they're not difficult to produce in a way, but when you have them, and for the next 18 years perhaps plus, you have to figure out how this thing works. And for myself, well, we have, as I mentioned, 5 kids, and I would have loved to know a little bit more before I got started,
right?
Of course you're handling it, but are you handling it well? Are you, now that I know so much about the imprints that we make on our kids from their,
I call them filters.
From the third trimester until they are 7. And I would have thought so much different,
Our poor kids.
Well, I've lucked out. They are okay, but
good.
But I know that it would have been so much easier to have a little bit of knowledge before I got started, and not trying to fumble and trial and error afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like my kids, I couldn't quite figure them out, and then there were things that I did get figured out, when it was kind of like that too, like feeling period of time. Anyways, just even rhythmic movements that infants make in their first year of life, I started studying that and found out how they even affect food sensitivities, which my kids had plenty, all the way to allergies, and like so many of the labels can be removed when you're making sure like the infant reflexes are integrated well. And so it kind of like there's one where the baby is on the hands and knees, and when they look down, they fall on their face, and when they look up, their butt goes down. They're kind of sitting on their haunches. Yeah, and so like kind of that rocking back and forth, and just practicing looking up and down integrates that reflex. And if that reflex isn't integrated, and pretty much it's not by about 50% in the United States, then the symptoms of attention deficit come up. And in school, it looks like when the knees are bent, the face is way down on, towards the paper. And when they're listening to a lecture, the legs are out front and the ankles are crossed. So if the legs are straight, then they're way back, right? The idea of the head up is really interesting. How much the reflexes affect us. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
fascinating.
Yeah. Anything else that go to on you wish people had license? Gonna have kids?
No, I think this is well, it's just how I feel, and
it's cute. I love it. And we're here to help each other. Oh, that's like my favorite subject, because I believe in and I teach relationship marketing and networking, and you can't be successful on your own. Like, it's fun to watch sort of the newbies think they can do that, and then they're going along, and then they pull away, and they like, and it's like, well, that's not what it's all about anyways, right? We are part of a collective, right? Yes. Spiritually, we are, in our own divinity, we're from the light, we're totally from divinity. Once we embody, we're now perfect in our imperfection. And I love how you referred to like the heart, and that some people say soul and stuff like that. When we get that soul, way down into our body, then it is about making decisions from your heart, using your soul, your divinity, for counsel. And then, this is kind of my husband's quote, and your brain for storage. And I always say temporary storage. So he says, use your make decisions with your heart, use your soul for counsel, and your brain for storage. And
very well said. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. So so tell us more. We're here to help each other.
Yeah. It's like you're saying, we are social beings, and we can function for a while alone, but after some time, different to each person, I think, we need someone for something. And I've come to the conclusion, I think that's one of the reasons for us being here, like, why are we here, and I think that we are here to help each other in some way, and we meet people for a reason, to help them or to be helped. Because we need them at that point in time, and they happen to be there.
A reason, a season, or a lifetime. You never know how long they're going to be in your world. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Just like that. So I think we are here to impact other people's lives, and to be open for other people to come into our life to teach us, or whatever we need to experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Anything else you'd like to add? Thank you so much. This is great.
No, I just want to encourage everyone to listen to your heart. Yeah, because you got it.
Says the heart guide herself.
Yeah.
So would you say there was a specific time for you that you actually like really listened to your heart?
Well, I learned to listen to my heart when I started at the Leadership by Heart Academy. So they taught us how to do that, how to kind of meditate and go in. And I was shocked, I have to tell you, because I've always been up in my head, storing so much information, and always analyzing and comparing, and working so hard to make the right decision based on my knowledge.
Sure.
But opening that little can of worms, that was something completely different for me, and I love it.
Good.
I mean, your heart can't steer you wrong. Our mind is so full of different people's opinions and propaganda in all kind of shapes and colors. But your heart will not steer you wrong. So listen to it. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much, Dorrit.
Thank you for having me, Linda. It's been an experience. I love it. And I'm going to tell everyone about it.
Oh, you're so cute. I love that. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.